I'm Scott Schober, author of Hacked Again. Welcome to the Power of Threat Intelligence, a Cybercrime Magazine podcast series brought to you by Resecurity, which offers real-time threat monitoring, dark web surveillance, and predictive analytics to identify risks before digital threat actors victimize your company and customers, ensuring your business remains secure. To learn more about our sponsor, visit resecurity.com. My guest today is Ahmad Halabi. He's the MENA Managing Director for Resecurity. Hey, welcome to the segment here, Ahmad.
Hello, Scott. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, wonderful. Look forward to a great discussion here. Let's jump right into the conversation. We're talking a little bit about brand protection. So maybe you could start us off. What is brand protection in cybersecurity, and why is it important for organizations today?
So, brand protection, if we want to break it down, it's monitoring and observing any potential threat related to your brand and surrounding, targeting your company, its brand online, their logos, their domains, the employees, even the customers, the surrounding across the internet from their web applications, mobiles, payment portals if required, and any potential asset that is relevant to the brand, and protecting it against any criminal activity and so on. Before hackers used to target, for example, infrastructure, servers, networks, endpoints. But now, within the human factor, within the AI and the emerging threats, they're going above the network, they're going to the surrounding level of the internet, going after surrounding parameters, not just dedicated to the core assets. So brand protection concept evolved to monitor the whole internet across all the sources, from the internet we know to the dark web to the social media to the marketplaces, stores, underground channels, and identify potential threat and prevent it and warn about it before further collateral damage happens.
Maybe you could share with us what are some of maybe the top threats that can affect a brand online?
Well, the top threats could be from the recent sophisticated AI phishing and scam campaigns that aim to defraud consumers. They mainly target companies and brands where they require too much financial and payment gateways. So, for example, they try to steal login credentials, they try to steal credit cards, OTPs, and so on. So we call it like a lookalike domains or phishing domains or squatting domains, where hackers try to create and market online so users will be phished or, victimized by entering fake website versus legitimate site. Other potential threats are the fake social media accounts, fake ads, and impersonations of the company assets, even with mobile applications, that lead to account takeover, to fraud, and to data breaches on dark web and massive claims of selling of customers' data.
Now, how does Resecurity help with brand protection?
Resecurity tries to monitor all these potential threats that are emerging across all the sources and identify not only the potential threat, but also discovering how it's being originated. And also not just identifying the compromise, but also identifying the original source and the root cause of the infection to help fix it at the A level, at the zero level. So we focus on understanding the brand, understanding the business, because, wherever there is a business, there is a threat, because hackers will try to steal financial records and steal sensitive documents. In the end, they're financially motivated. So we monitor all these potential threats, from phishing domains, fake accounts, impersonations, infringement, and potential data leakage, and also compromised endpoints tied to employees, third party, supply chain infections, so on. And, actualize it all in a platform that will make it easy for the end user to view the threats and act accordingly in a very timely manner.
We'll be right back after a quick word from our sponsor.
Cyber threats are more advanced than ever. Are you prepared? With Resecurity's cyber threat intelligence services, you don't just react, you stay ahead. Our real-time threat monitoring, dark web surveillance, and predictive analytics identify risks before digital threat actors victimize your company and customers, ensuring your business remains secure. From preventing data breaches to outsmarting cybercriminals, Resecurity enables you to manage your defenses more effectively and extend your digital risk monitoring beyond your firewall to include activities in the dark web targeting your company, employees, customers, and suppliers. Don't wait for an attack. Take control now. Visit resecurity.com and stay ahead of the threat.
And now, back to the podcast.
Now, you mentioned before, and maybe for our listeners, lookalike domains. What are lookalike domains, and why is it important for companies to monitor them?
Well, lookalike domains are domains that, for some reason or somehow very pretty similar to the legitimate domain. Like they include small misspellings, maybe extra letters, maybe some dashes or changes in the TLDs. Like for example, instead of, let's say, bankname.com, it will be bank-name, or it will be bank name with two A's, for example. Could be .net instead of .com. So actually the user or the consumer doesn't really differentiate between the legitimate one and the fake one, which result in the hackers to easily conduct phishing emails, create fake payment portals, putting the main brand logo, but technically it's a different domain with extra letter or misspelling, and distribute malwares. For example, let's say the website allow you to download some product or download some application, then the user will be downloading a malware and hackers will be, infecting their machines, stealing their information, compromising their business emails, personal information, and so on. So that is mainly about the lookalike domain. It's in the end a phishing domain.
Yeah, it makes sense. And I guess when you think about it, if an end user gets a phishing email not realizing it and they're rushed and they, again, quickly click on that and it redirects them to a domain, it looks like you mentioned there, bank.com, but it may actually be bank.net. And I guess it just totally fools them because who's looking up at their browser and spelling each letter? Probably not many people, but they have to be very careful, especially not to click in a phishing email, like you said.
Exactly. So the hackers design lookalike website, putting pretty similar domain name, same content, and then utilize it for phishing emails. And as you said, rarely people will distinguish between both sites.
Wow. Powerful tactic that these cyber criminals are using. Now, maybe you could tell us what's the value of dark web monitoring in brand protection?
Yeah, and that is also a very good point because, hackers aim to steal money. In the end, they are financially motivated. So they're doing all of that in order to get money out of it. So every phishing kit is being created, all the traded stolen data and infections happening of endpoints, computers, then exfiltration of data, in the end, it is gonna be sold because hackers either benefit from it themselves or they actually sell it on dark web. So dark web monitoring is essential because in the end, all these phishing attacks and sophisticated campaigns will be gathered as data on dark web to be sold. So when we monitor dark web, we in the end understand where the data is being sold and we acquire it so the end user can at least, investigate, understand how it ended up there and fix the problem accordingly.
And maybe one final question. What's the difference between brand protection, which we've been talking about, and threat intelligence?
Well, brand protection focuses on monitoring the brand type of threats. So it focuses on monitoring your brand name, your logo, your domains, your employees, your surrounding from third parties, supply chain, contractors, consumers, and providing you threats relevant only to your brand. While threat intelligence gives you broader focus on monitoring the whole threat landscape within the whole industry you're in, maybe the whole country or the region, not just the brand itself. So you're able to monitor not only, for example, threat actors targeted your brand, but also the threat actors targeting your country, your surrounding. And also you're able to acquire what we call threat feeds, any artifact, any indication of compromise related to any affected and infected company and feed it to your security products to avoid having it or avoid getting the same incident in future. So threat intel mainly looks at the broader scope of things, while brand protection is pretty focused and oriented towards your brand kind of threats.
Well, Ahmad, thank you again for your insight. Really enjoyed this discussion. Appreciate your time so much and all the great stuff you're doing.
Thank you, Scott. Highly appreciate it.
The Power of Threat Intelligence is a Cybercrime Magazine podcast series brought to you by Resecurity, which offers real-time threat monitoring, dark web surveillance, and predictive analytics to identify risks before digital threat actors victimize your company and customers, ensuring your business remains secure. To learn more about our sponsor, visit resecurity.com.